Full history of Australia. One Indigenous Australia before 1788. Indigenous Australians have lived on the continent for at least 65,000 years, making them the world's oldest continuous culture. They developed over 250 languages and maintained complex societies based on hunting, gathering, aquaculture, and trade. Their spiritual beliefs, known as the Dreamtime, explain creation and the laws of life. Some indigenous groups, such as those at Budgebim in Victoria, built stone aquaculture systems to farm eels. Before European arrival, the indigenous population was estimated between 300,000 and 1 million. Second European exploration, 1606 to 1788. The first recorded European contact with Australia occurred in 1606, when Dutch explorer Willem Janszoon landed on the western coast of Cape York Peninsula. Throughout the 1600s and 1700s, Dutch, Portuguese, and French explorers mapped parts of the coastline. In 1770, British navigator Captain James Cook charted the east coast and claimed it for Britain, naming it New South Wales. Early European explorers noted Australia's vast land, unique wildlife, and indigenous inhabitants, but initially dismissed it as unsuitable for settlement. 3. British colonization. 1788 to 1850s. The first fleet, led by Captain Arthur Phillip, arrived in Sydney Cove on January 26, 1788, establishing Australia as a British penal colony. The new colony faced food shortages, conflicts with Indigenous Australians, and harsh conditions. By 1820, Australia had around 30,000 European settlers, mostly convicts and British officials. In the mid-1800s, free settlers arrived, and industries like sheep farming expanded. The 1851 gold rush in Victoria, in New South Wales, attracted thousands of migrants, including Chinese, Irish, and American gold seekers, boosting Australia's population and economy. 4. Towards Federation, 1850s to 1901. By the late 19th century, Australia had 6 separate British colonies, each with its own government. The Eureka Rebellion in 1854 was a major event in Australia's push for democracy, as miners fought against harsh gold license fees. The idea of uniting the colonies into a single nation gained momentum in the 1890s, with leaders drafting a federal constitution. On January 1, 1901, Australia officially became the Commonwealth of Australia, a self-governing dominion under the British Empire. At the time, Australia's population had grown to 3.7 million people, mainly of British and Irish descent. 5. Early 20th century, 1901 to 1945. In 1901, Australia's new government introduced the White Australia policy, restricting non-European immigration. During World War I, 1914 to 1918, over 400,000 Australians served, with the Gallipoli campaign becoming a defining national moment. The 1920s and 1930s saw economic expansion, but the Great Depression, 1929 to 1939, led to mass unemployment. In World War II, 1939 to 1945, Australia fought in Europe, North Africa, and the Pacific, while Japanese forces bombed Darwin in 1942. By 1945, Australia's population had reached 7 million, with growing Italian, Greek, and Eastern European communities. 6th post-war boom and social changes, 1945 to 1975. After World War II, Australia launched a mass immigration program, welcoming millions of European refugees. The 1950s and 1960s saw rapid economic growth, with industries like mining, manufacturing, and infrastructure development expanding. In 1967, a referendum granted Indigenous Australians full citizenship and voting rights. By 1975, Australia's population had reached 14 million, becoming more diverse with migrants from Italy, Greece, the Middle East, and Asia. In the same period, the White Australia policy was abolished, opening the country to multicultural immigration. 7. Modern Australia, 1975 to present. By the late 20th century, Australia became a multicultural, economically strong nation. The Australia Act of 1986 removed the UK's legal power over Australia, making it fully independent. The 1992 Mabo decision recognized indigenous land rights, overturning the idea that Australia was terra nullius, empty land. In 2008, Prime Minister Kevin Rudd issued a formal apology to the stolen generations. Today, Australia has a population of 26 million, with major ethnic groups including British, European, Asian, and Indigenous Australians. The economy is driven by mining, agriculture, technology, finance, and tourism, with China, Japan, the USA, and India as major trade partners. Types of government. Australia is a constitutional monarchy, meaning it has a king, currently King Charles III, as its head of state, but real power lies with an elected government. It is also a parliamentary democracy where the Prime Minister leads the government. Australia has a federal system, meaning power is divided between the national government and 6 state governments. In recent years, discussions about becoming a republic have increased, but referendums have so far rejected this change. Natural assets of Australia. Australia is rich in natural resources, making it one of the world's largest exporters of iron ore, coal, gold, natural gas, and uranium. The country has vast agricultural lands, producing wheat, beef, and dairy products for global markets. Australia is also home to unique biodiversity, with world-famous ecosystems like the Great Barrier Reef, rainforests, and vast deserts. Its strong infrastructure, stable government, and skilled workforce make it a key economic player in the Asia-Pacific region. Summary. Australia has transformed from an indigenous land to a British penal colony and eventually into a modern, multicultural democracy. With its rich history, abundant natural resources, and stable government, Australia is one of the most developed countries in the world and plays a significant role in global economy and politics. Thank you for watching this video. Please support us by subscribing, liking, and leaving a comment. Your support keeps us motivated to create more content. See you in the next video.